such a time as this. That's the artist forever known as Prince. She's always in my head. Yes, yes. We're going to break away from the Jazz Jacuzzi. We have a segment we call Pushing the Positive and People Who Make a Difference. November 7th, the general election here in Flint. Up for grabs, the mayor seat here in Flint. Also, 9 council seats for all 9 wards. And we have with us this evening Mr. Arthur Woodson, candidate for mayor. Arthur, how are you?
I'm fine. Yourself, Dr. Bell?
I'm good. Thanks for coming in today.
No problem. I'm glad you invited me.
My first question for you. Why, man?
Why? Because we don't have anyone fighting for the people. We protest for 3 years, and nothing moving. There's not anything moving. We still have serious health concerns. Right now, we don't have anyone advocating for the people. Right now, we can't get the health department, CDC, ATSDR here because Nick Lyons is on trial. And by the health department, CDC, and ATSDR and DHHS having to testify against Nick Lyons, they are witnesses. Nick Lyons can't bring any studies in here. He can't talk to the witnesses because they got to testify against him. So we should have someone advocating down at Governor Snyder's office saying we need somebody to be specifically over Flint so that we can get health studies done so everybody can get health care.
Art, I have witnessed you in the community for a couple years now. You seem to have all the pertinent information. So to me, that says you're a very intelligent and learned individual. Why are you not advocating and doing all of the things you say we need? Why aren't you down there in Lansing doing it now?
That's how I learned about it, because I am doing it. I spoke to Mr. Henry. I have spoken to Dr. McFadden from CDC. I have spoken to Mr. Young from ATSDR, which is Agency for Toxic Disease Registry. I have talking to Robert Kaplan from EPA. All of them leads me right back to Nick Lyons. Can't nothing move unless Nick Lyons make it move, because a federal agency cannot just come into the city of Flint without the blessings of the state. And by Nick Lyons being on trial, which he start again November the 1st, can't nothing move. And, you know, the pipes, service lines, I applaud the mayor for getting it started, but it's not moving fast enough because they putting profit over people. We need all contractors up in here. We don't want just 2 or 3 of them. How is it that they can catch up because they were behind? They can subcontract in the last month 3 other subcontractors. They should have did this from the beginning. This should have started back last year, but they waiting to find certain people to donate to contribute to their campaigns when we have an emergency here. That's what I'm seriously upset about, is the fact that we have an emergency, people are dying, and people are trying to make profits off of other people's misery.
I said you were a very intelligent individual, and you just said something that I think is very important. If you will, recap this Nick Lyon thing, the head of DHHS.
Right. Recapping it, Nick Lyons was he's over the health and human services. He didn't bring people in. When CDC and EPA and everybody wanted to come in at the beginning of this, in order for them to come in, they have to be welcomed by the state. So now they have to look and see, all right, who gave you the order? Because at first they said it was okay for them to come in when this was first started. Then somebody gave him the order to tell them no. And in order for them to come in, the state has to welcome them in. The feds cannot just come in and just say, we're taking over, we're getting ready to do this. So my thing is, Nick Lyons, the health department, Mike, what's his name, Belichick, that was the director that just resigned.
Really?
Yeah, he resigned last month. All of them played together. And that's what I keep telling people. It's no such thing as Republican and Democrats. It's no such thing as black and white. It's all about green. It's all about money. And that's what all this is about. Because people don't understand. We allowed them to set the narrative. Detroit was getting their water plant back March 27, 2013. They saw an opening to turn Detroit into a Republican city. Then they saw, all right, well, then the state was against the KWA at first. Then Jeff Wright, United Way, Mott, all of them went down to the state with Andy Dillon, which was the state treasurer at the time.
Supposed Democrat.
Right. And they said, hey, listen, we need the KWA. You need a Republican stronghold, so let's work together and we can make, all of us can be satisfied. So March 25th, Snyder sent in Kevin Orr to Detroit because of the 1977 case of the EPA. EPA had took Detroit's water plant. If you remember, Coleman Young said the best way to take Detroit is take the water plant. And once you take the water plant, they're done. Mm-hmm. So March 25th, Kevin Orr came in, and they went to bankrupt. I mean, you know, you got two emergency managers together. They don't have to get any city council approval. They don't have to get anybody's approval. Well, how come they couldn't work together and make a deal instead of taking us off of Detroit Water?
And let me interject that to this date, Detroit's bankruptcy is not legal. City Council, Detroit City Council never signed off on the bankruptcy.
Right. I mean, it's we allowed them to make our narratives. Flint and Detroit and Pontiac, we own 47% of the water in southeast Michigan. 47%. 3 cities owning that much water. That water is gold.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of people don't understand the mayor can change the master plan right now because it's a living document. Why hasn't she changed that green zone? The green zone is in the master plan to take the land. That's a land grab. And she hasn't changed that. Why? We cannot put a high school on north side or east side of Flint because it's a green zone. Then you have green innovation, where if your house burned down, you got insurance, you still can't build up on that land because it's in a green innovation. The green innovation is between Pearson and Carpenter, Martin Luther King and Saginaw. Why hasn't she changed that? If she's out to save the north side of Flint, why is the green zone still there? We can't even get redevelopment dollars. We can't build a high school. We can't do anything in a green zone. And Donald Trump they keep on saying they can bring green dollars in. Well, Donald Trump don't believe in green, except for money. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to send money into that green zone. It's a way of getting us up out of the north side and the east side.
Arthur, you at one time were on the mayor's team.
Correct.
What caused the break?
The break was the fact that, you know, after telling her, and everybody have to understand, I was the person that told her, because I was going to Dane Walling, asking Dane Walling to call a PA 390 1976, which is a local state of emergency. Dane Walling would not call one. So while we was protesting, I went to Mayor Weaver, at the time, candidate Weaver, and asked her, you know, if we help you campaign and protest, campaign and get out there and knock on doors and pass out your literature, would you promise to call a local state of emergency? And she said yes. So we started working with her. Mm-hmm. And then after we started seeing, 527 funds, being where she was diverting the funds to her own private 527 fund, Rizzo, it was everything that was going against the people. You know, all these things that I just named was going against the people. Annie Gilchrist, I thought that she was going to put people in there that had municipality skills, that was going to help the people, you know, and better the community and put service lines in and fix the infrastructure and, you know, get health care for all the people in the city of Flint, not just a certain group, you know, 0 to 6, under 18, seniors. Right now, the people with autoimmune deficiencies, that's not even being addressed. They're not even telling just the little simple things like telling the people you can't use soap and water to wash out your port. You know, if you doing dialysis or chemotherapy or anything like that. My cousin, she used the water. The doctors told her told her to use soap and water, and she built up a bacteria in her port, and her body went into a septic shock. She wasn't able to use chemotherapy for a while because of the antibiotics that she had to use. And they're not even telling you the little smallest things. And all you hear is, we done changed 4,126 service lines, and that's it. You're not telling the people that they can go down to City Hall and get an application to put in for Healthy Homes to change your infrastructure, your plumbing in your home. They're not even bringing that out. I mean, she can be doing a whole lot more.
There's a term that I believe is apropos here, stronger together. Why won't you work with the mayor?
Because of the people that is around her. I mean, let's take Rizzo, for example. A federal corrupt company. We knew that was wrong. I'm not here to compromise my integrity or my morals. If you're doing right, I'm with you. But if I see that you're not trying to do right, I'm not going to compromise my morals or my integrity for anyone. And then on the same note, if I'm your friend, I'm not going to put you in a position to where I even have to ask you to even question your loyalty. You know, if I help you and I'm doing wrong, I don't want to put you in a position to where you have to question your loyalty to where you get in trouble. I don't want to do that, and I will not do that. And I'm not going to be with anyone that I know is not here for the people. And, you know, they're not here for the people, and I'm not trying to help anyone to advance not helping the people.
You spoke about integrity. In the hood, you virtually have no integrity. Your name is Dirt. We've heard that you have been used as a pawn by the man.
Do you honestly believe that? That's
the word on the street.
But you know what? That's the word on the street because they put it out there. They put it out there. Remember, if I was bought, or if somebody was paying me to do this, if you paid me to do something, right, and I renege on it, you're going to be highly upset, right? Yes. So the first recall I put in, I took back. So wouldn't that person be highly upset? How is it that, you know, we talk so highly about talking bad about the brothers and sisters and this and that, but you don't give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm intelligent enough to write language and intelligent enough to push a recall? You see, one thing about me, I won't sell out. I'm unbought and I'm unbossed. And one thing about it, I don't work for nobody but for the people. And 8,848 people felt the same way I did. You have to understand. February, she got voted in, the mayor got voted in November 2015. The mayor tried to divert money, donations that was coming into Flint for the people in the city of Flint for her and Ani Gilchrist.
Can you prove that?
Yes.
That's an allegation.
Do you want me to pull it up? No, it's not an allegation. She said this.
You can pull it up.
Hey, she said this. I have the depositions. I have the depositions from where she spoke about it at her deposition at Natasha Henderson's trial. She said that they did it 527. I can pull up Lara, L-A-R-A, licensing regulatory agency over in Lansing. Pull up the articles of incorporation. Then you can look it up on MLive. It's called 527 Mayor Shielding 527 Fund. and it shows what she was using it for. Waymeyer from out of Lansing, they was going to pay them for PR. We had the emails. I have the emails. I didn't put it on Facebook and everything else. And when they asked her what was she using it for, she said that she wanted to save taxpayers' money, and that's why she was diverting the funds so that she can pay for her trips to Lansing, D.C., and Ani Gilchrist.
Now, you used the term divert. Is it a diversion if she's using it for city business?
It's a diversion because she wasn't supposed to do it at all. It's illegal.
Okay.
She wasn't supposed to do it at all.
If it's illegal, why has she not been prosecuted for it?
If it's not illegal, why isn't she taking money in it right now?
I don't know the mayor's business like that.
All right, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why she hasn't been prosecuted for it yet. We don't know if they're not investigating her for it right now.
I want to go back again. You talked about Nick Lyons and the complications of all of the services and things we should be receiving. Could it be, is it by design that the State Attorney General brought the charges against Nick specifically for those reasons, to keep all of these resources out of Flint?
No, I mean, we had a golden opportunity to do a whole lot. When the emergency was called and everybody was here, we had the best opportunity in the world. The mayor's advisors, their focus wasn't on getting people assistance. Their focus was on how can we get these contracts and how can we get this money. We had ATSDR here, we had CDC here, we had DHHS here, we had EPA here, we had Genesee County Health Department working, we had money coming in, we had everything going. If anything, if I was mayor, I would have said, hey, listen, we're not going to pay anything until this is fixed. By giving the mayor her powers back, she owned this now. And then you'll hear her say, we fought for home rule. I have the email right now and the letter that was sent to Governor Snyder to not give city council their powers back. The mayor was fighting against city council getting their powers back. That's why you got a lot of beef going on right now. See, a lot of people just sit back and listen and hear what they want to hear, but they don't read, and they're not there at city council meetings. They're not reading what's really going on. They're allowing people to tell them this or tell them that. When you start reading about it, then you start understanding what's going on. The mayor's intentions with Rizzo, she wasn't there to save $4 million.
But $4 million was saved?
She wasn't, no, it wasn't. And she wasn't there to save $4 million. If you were there from the beginning to the end, where we wasted money going to court, they had Rizzo lawyers up in there. How can you take company lawyers that's fighting to get a contract to represent Flint? How can you do that?
Let me ask you this. Are you in love with Mayor Karen Weaver?
Man, come on, man. No. What I want is for Flint to get right. You see, that's another thing, too. You know, December the 14th, 2016, Congressman Kildee invited me to the press conference where they got the $100 million. All right? I went to that. She used that as one of the occasions that I suppose had done something or said something to her. Then, when Chief Johnson on January 26th met with me over at my friend's sandwich shop over in Flint Township, met with me to discuss taking a recall back. January 27th, Chief Johnson set the meeting up and called me, and I was sitting at the barbershop when he called. He said, where are you? I said, I'm at the barbershop on Pasadena and Fleming Road. He said, well, me and the mayor is getting ready to go up to Popeye's Chicken on Cloud Road. Meet us up there. I go up there and meet them because they wanted me to pull the recall. I go meet them. Now, that was another meeting. I took the recall back. Now, when I put a new recall in, That's when she said that I sent a postcard, which somebody really did send a postcard from Roseville, Michigan. Then she used those two meetings, the press conference and the meeting that Chief Johnson set up, and said that I said I loved her and all this other stuff. No, I don't love her. I was married at the time, and I had a beautiful wife at the time. And no, I didn't love her as far as loving her like that. I love her as a person, as the mayor, or whatever the case, however you want to put that. But physically attracted to her, no, I'm not physically attracted to her.
You have a lot of great information. You have a lot of documentation. If you can't work with our current mayor, how do you suppose to work with the city council or a city council or other governmental agencies?
Well, I mean, I've been working with the city council as far as giving them information, and, you know, Rizzo, for example, I told them, hey, you shouldn't vote for Rizzo. And they didn't. They didn't vote for him, and they took my information. My thing is, if I'm working for the people, and as their new mayor, I'm putting information out or resolutions out 3-4 days prior to me taking it to city council so that the people can see what it is that I'm doing for them. If city council don't want to go along with what I'm sending down to them, that is everything will be generated for the people, then they got to answer to the people, not me. Right now, what the mayor is sending down is what's benefiting Ani Gilchrist, Woodrow Stanley, and herself. But what I would send down to the city council is what would benefit the people. I don't want money from anyone. I don't want that. I don't want big interest groups donating to my campaign, because I don't want to be in their pocket. I don't want to have to be indebted to them. So I work for the people now, and the people donate to my campaign. I'm indebted to the people, not big interest groups, not Kettering, not Mott, not Uptown Development, not Chamber of Commerce, not any companies, none of that. I'm indebted to the people.
A lot of those same groups that you say you will not take money from are many of the groups that are against our current mayor.
How you figure that? They are the same ones that donated to her campaign.
Such as
Tim Herman, Phil Schultz, Wade and Trim.
Now,
all those same people donated to her.
Now, would you say that it's fair that they've donated to others? Those entities normally try to play both ends against the middle.
Yeah, all of them in it together. I mean, you know, you look at it. Scott Kincaid, Councilman Kincaid, is in Don Williamson building over in 3rd Ward over on Leaf Street. Mayor Weaver is in Don Williamson building over on Saginaw.
And where's your building?
My truck.
That's your campaign headquarters?
That's my campaign headquarters. You know, I'm rolling around in my truck. You know, I have 150 yard signs. I got T-shirts, and all that was brought about by donations from the people and myself.
If elected mayor, November 7th, what's your first act?
My first act is to go in there and cut the water rates in half. I'm going to take it from per 1,000 cubic feet to from per 100 cubic feet to per 500 cubic feet. That would cut the water rates in half. And then I would bring in the people who are behind on their water rates or water bill, and I would go by their income. And the only portion that they would pay is the sewer portion, because it was only good for flushing and washing clothes, and sometimes it wasn't even good for that, or washing your car in your yard. We had to flush it. We had to take the chemicals out of the water, some of the chemicals that they did put in, not a lot. But you still should have to pay the sewer portion, because we washed dishes and we did all that with it. And it would be generated off of their income. And they would have to, you know, pay monthly on that back pay. And I believe that we will generate enough revenue to where everybody is paying, because right now, a lot of people's water bills has doubled because of the people who has not been paying. And that should not be a burden on, it shouldn't be a burden on people who are paying for the people who's not paying. So I believe that we should. The first thing that I'm gonna do when I get in the office is cut the water rates.
How do you run the city if you are cutting the water revenues?
Well, for one, when the new charter kick in, which is already law, you don't even supposed to be using the water funds and general funds anyway. That's why we're in the trouble we're in now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Jazz Jacuzzi. This is a portion we call Pushing the Positive and People Who Make a Difference. My guest today is Arthur Woodson, candidate for Flint Mayor in the November 7th election. Also the gentleman who spurred the recall of Flint Mayor Karen Weaver. Mr. Woodson has a lot of great information. My final question for you, Art.
Okay.
With all of the knowledge and information you have, it's also been alleged that you are a government secret agent.
Okay.
Are you?
Man, you know, people will say whatever they want, man, you know. It's like, you know, you just get some people saying I kidnap people, some people saying this, you know, no matter what I say, they're going to believe what they want to believe. So, you know, it's just like you asked me, am I in love with the mayor? You know, no, I'm not, you know. So people going to say whatever they want to say no matter what, man.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in, being very candid, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
We return you to the Jazz Jacuzzi here at 92.1 wfov. Our voices.